Hello, and welcome to Weed and Grub.
But then you're paying for it to take more time than a normal coffee?
That's why pour over is so fucking expensive, is because it is made with great beans, but also it takes like 10 minutes to make.
But then it should be less money because I'm taking time out of my day for a better product.
Well, that doesn't work for anyone.
I know it doesn't. I know. As soon as I said it, I was like, that's faulty logic across the board. No wonder I'm bad at business. But I just like the pour over takes so long when a coffee machine is a robot pour over every morning in my kitchen.
Right. But the thing is, this is like a hand pour over. Every cup is made with its own filter. And then it's like a very slow drip. The
slow is why I'm so turned off by the pour over. Because I understand the handcrafted, such a small batch that there's just one of them per pour over.
Yes.
Like, sure, love the craftsmanship, love the dedication and care taken. But let's cut that thing down by at least 4.5 minutes.
Well, that's what espresso's for. That's quick.
Right. But my problem with espresso is that it's I like holding something warm in my hand on the cold months. Like, I think a hot black coffee to go for a nice walk in the morning is an absolute dream come true.
You know espresso is hot, right?
I do, but it's tiny.
Oh, well then get an Americano.
What is that?
That's hot water with espresso shots in it.
Is it taking as long as a pour over?
It is taking very much less time than a pour over.
You get 2 coffees for less time than it takes to make 1 coffee?
What are you talking about?
2 coffees. The Americano is an espresso plus a coffee.
The espresso plus water, making like kind of an American style coffee.
So if you get rid of the pouring and you just combine the water and the coffee.
Yeah.
So you cut out the pouring.
So
a pour over minus the pouring is an Americano.
Sure. You know why you're so fucking amped right now?
Why?
It's because you had a goddamn pour over. Because the caffeine levels in a pour over are much, much higher because it takes longer. So everyone thinks that espresso is stronger in caffeine, but it's actually less strong than brewed coffee. And that is less strong than pour over, which has the most caffeine because the water spends so much time in the beans.
Yeah.
So it actually brings out all of the caffeine.
Oh, that's very interesting. I didn't know that.
That's why you're talking a mile a minute.
I am. I feel like I'm on Molly right now, but I'm on pour over.
I just had espresso. I feel fine.
I'm like handing out little pour overs at a rave. Trust me.
Just good stuff.
So then the caffeine levels will go. See, here's what I thought they were. I thought it was cold brew, espresso, and then everything else. Like, I thought that was the hierarchy of caffeine.
Oh, like cold brew was the most potent?
Yeah, I really thought cold brew.
I think cold brew might be even more potent than pour over. So I think it would go like bottom is espresso, and then next most strong is. Can you hear? I wonder if. Whoa, your neighbors have such loud sex.
They fuck
wild.
so loud. They fuck so loud that it's I don't have a problem with it because it's like get yours, come hard. But when it's like the over the top, that it makes me think they have an OnlyFans and it's them filming it because it sounds fake, but it sounds right up somebody's alley who's paying $17.99 a month.
That was so performative.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Okay, well, back to our coffee conversation.
Yeah, well, let's do a little quick one up there. What up, Mary Jane?
How's it going, Mike?
Welcome to Weed and Grub, everybody. Already off the rails. Woo. This is a podcast about comedy, cooking, culture, cannabis, calling shit out, coming, and coffee.
Yeah! Nicely done.
They fuck really loud.
Yes, they do. And your walls are very thin.
I live in a paper mache house. I don't know why I'm whispering. Oh, I'm whispering because I'm talking about them.
They can hear you talking about them right now.
Of course they can. But also get yours as much as possible.
Oh, wow. It's been really interesting being here. Like, we've been shuttling back and forth between your place and my place, using your place like a studio kind of live-in over here for the Emerge conference that we hosted and everything. And it's been really interesting, like, spending so much time here and just like listening to the world that is your building.
Yes.
Because it is like really loud.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is one of those New York theater movies where each character in their home has a different agenda within the story.
Yeah.
All very different, all in kind of harmony.
Yeah.
We all are doing our own thing, and we are doing it unapologetically.
It's like Rent. Is that what you're saying?
I've never seen Rent.
I neither have I. Isn't that crazy? Wow. We're probably like the last 2 people in the world who haven't seen Rent.
I don't know that I'll ever see it.
I never wanted to see it. Sorry to everyone who loves Rent out there and is like screaming right now, like it's the best musical ever.
Nobody's saying that.
No, nobody's saying that.
Nobody's saying that at all. Come on.
Okay, but that is what you were referring to.
No, it was a Woody Allen movie, but I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, Moon Over Manhattan?
No.
I'm just making things
Moon
up.
Over my... That does sound like a Woody Allen movie. Why wouldn't that
probably
be?
is.
Yeah.
Let's just sit around and guess what Woody Allen movie you're talking about.
It's...
Well, that makes me think
something... I'll think of it within this record.
That makes me think of something that I feel like could have been maybe in a Woody Allen movie, or it was more of a Larry David moment that I was having with...
Wait.
Holy shit, that's loud.
It's crazy.
That's so loud. Whoa.
If you're listening to this, I hope you can hear that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Totally. And also the paddle smacking too.
Oh.
Like, I don't know if it's a hand, because if it's a hand, he's very good at it. But I think it's probably a paddle with holes in it, or a belt, something welty that'll
Yeah.
leave, like, you know what I'm saying?
Something welty.
Yeah.
Great.
You know, like whatever you're into that leaves a nice red mark. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. Well, good for you guys.
I want it to look like I have poison oak all over my body by the time you're done with me.
Oh,
is
okay.
probably what she's thinking.
Hot.
I want so many welts it looks like I'm allergic.
Yeah. I once was at a party where everyone was getting spanked with a paddle that had heart-shaped holes, so everyone was covered in little heart-shaped welts.
Oh, would you join in for that kind of the whole party's doing it thing?
I did get spanked with it, yes. Everyone did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did anyone swim with their shirt on in that instance?
There was no swimming. It was winter in Seattle.
I know, but why does it make sense in my brain every time? And then as soon as I say it out loud, everyone's like, dude, what?
What are you talking about swimming with your shirt on? When
Like,
I'm
did
talking
anyone
like
get paddled with their clothes on? Like, they wouldn't go
Oh,
bare ass in
sure.
front of everyone else.
Yeah, it was very like, whatever suits you. If you want to like have a bare ass and get smacked, great. And if you just want a light little tap over your tutu, fine.
Got it.
Yeah.
On your hand?
No, it
Okay.
had to be like the back of your leg or your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could severely hurt someone if you paddled their hand, I think. There's
Oh,
a lot
yeah,
of
you're
delicate
probably
bones
right.
in the hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're there.
Are we helping them come?
Wow. Okay, this up is like, that's some interesting interruptions there.
Yeah.
I wonder if when we listen back, if we'll be able to really, truly hear it, because otherwise.
If not, just know that I refuse to edit this.
Yeah. No editing. It's a holiday drop. I wanted to talk about the moment that I was having that I thought would be funny in the Larry David
Oh, yeah.
moment,
That was
though.
hilarious.
when we went to get COVID tested at Dodger Stadium. There was a very long line of traffic, and I kept like pausing to let other cars pass through, and I wasn't getting a wave.
Not one wave.
Yeah, I didn't get any acknowledgement from any cars that were like, accepting of the space that I was leaving between my vehicle and the next vehicle. And I was like, but I could have driven up.
Yep.
I didn't have to hold that space for you. I could have driven up. I should get a wave. I didn't get a wave.
Mm-mm. And next time I see you, I'm going to say, where's the wave?
Yeah. Why didn't I get a wave? For
Hi,
holding
you
the space?
probably remember me as the person you didn't wave to
Yeah.
a couple of lights ago.
And I could have driven up.
I could have driven up.
I didn't drive up. And you didn't give me a wave. So
You give me, that's the transactional nature of thank you for letting me go about my life.
yeah, I hold the space. You give me a wave.
Boom, boom.
Yeah. You don't give me a wave. I drive up next time. You're
And
not,
you know what it is? You know what the worst part about that is?
What?
The next person who you drove up on would have given you a wave. But
Right.
that person ruined the drive up or ruined it for everyone else
by not giving a wave.
by not giving a wave.
You got to give a wave. If they don't drive up, you give them a wave. Anyway, very long line. Thank you to all of those people who are working at Dodger Stadium to get everyone tested right now in LA. It's a pretty incredible operation. Long lines or no, it was a very easy process. And
It's literally lifting your hand at the other person's eyes. You don't have to shake your hand back and forth. You don't have to give a tip of it. You don't even have to move your hand from like an up and down to a right angle. You don't even have to wave it. You just have to lift your hand as an appreciation point.
I would even do a finger flick.
Yes.
You know, like a one finger off the steering wheel with like even an eyebrow lift.
A tilt of the head.
An acknowledgement.
An acknowledgement.
That's what we all need right now.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to acknowledge everything all the time. You know what I mean?
Especially the small niceties.
Yep. That's what's going to keep us all going.
I yelled at a woman. Because I held the door open for her and she walked in like she was Queen Elizabeth past me without even making eye contact. And I just went, "You're welcome." And she looked back. She's like, "What?" And I was like, "You're welcome." And man, this sounds like when I yell about debit cards. I'm going to get arrested. But you know what I'm saying? I just like made me snap. I was like, "You're welcome." I could have just like bustled through, bumped into you, waited for you to open it and snuck through on your opening. Many different options. I chose to hold the door open for you. So look at me.
Yep.
Look at me.
I need the acknowledgement.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have driven up.
I could have closed the door.
You could have closed the door. You could have done anything. Acknowledge. Yep. I feel you. I had
Acknowledge is power.
Yeah. Yes, it is. I fucking had the door open in my kitchen this morning. Held that door open. Bird flew in. Straight into my house. It was crazy.
Did it give you a wave? A little wave?
It gave me both wings beating its poor little heart. I had the back door open to my outdoor space, and Archie was like sunning himself on the back step. It was very nice. Very quiet, chill. I was just listening to a podcast, doing some laundry. And then this bird just flew into my kitchen and banged around the windowsill, and then, thank goodness, flew right back up.
Okay, thank goodness.
It felt like a weird omen, though.
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean? I guess you would know, because you're the bird whisperer.
I don't know what a bird coming in, freaking out, and leaving again means.
Yeah, it definitely snapped me to attention.
What kind of a bird?
Beautiful little bird. I don't know what it was. It looked sort of
I was picturing like a big fat raven crow.
Oh, no, this was like a little robin, kind of a finchy.
Okay.
A thrush, perhaps.
A flitterer.
Yes.
Got it.
For sure. Not hummingbird, not raven. Somewhere in the middle. Finch, thrush, warbler sized, I'm going to say.
Nice. Great.
Could have been maybe a junco.
Oh, God.
It was smaller than a scrub jay. But bigger than a canary. Somewhere in the middle, It was brown. I didn't really get a good look at it because it was so fast.
The names of so many fucking birds.
It was not a starling. Larger than a sparrow. Yeah, I'm going to say it was in the thrush family.
If there's ever a bird murder and the bird cops come by,
Yep.
they found the right witness.
Yeah.
For sure, because you can describe the fucking...
Hell yes.
What you saw quite easily. How
Yep.
tall was the victim?
It was 4 inches long.
Okay, so about a sparrow.
Yep, larger than a sparrow. Anyway, it was fucking wild. I was like, what does it mean? What does it mean?
Yeah.
When birds mean things. I mean, I just feel like they're always omens, your owl attack or... like getting pooped on by a bird.
I think there's two types of people in the world, and one of them thinks a bird just flew in and flew out, and the other one needs to think everything means something. And I am in the camp of everything means something too. Totally.
Yeah, it definitely felt just like the universe kind of sending me a little wake up, be alert. Be on your guard, I think was like what I would take from it energetically. It was just like, don't like sleepwalk your way through anything right now.
Like that.
Be vigilant.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was the sign that the universe was sending me.
I love that too, because when the bird goes, it kind of did its job and you didn't have to deal with the bird.
Thank goodness.
Which I love.
Really
I love a good sign. I like, that's a nice, like, you don't need to reply to this email.
Right.
It's a one-way message.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you want to get to some crazy stuff?
Yes.
Okay. Speaking of birds.
Okay.
Well, oh no, I don't like that transition. I don't like that transition at all. I know what I was going to say, but I don't want to say it.
Okay.
Let's just talk about Killer Mike and LP from Run the Jewels.
Yes, please.
Okay, great.
Man, we hung out at the Emerge Virtual Cannabis Conference all last week as hosts, and some of the panels were fucking incredible, and I think this was my favorite one of all.
Was Killer Mike and LP talking with Burner, and hold on, I want to pull up the quotes that they said, because they drop knowledge in a way that I aspire to drop knowledge, because it comes from a place of like passion and honesty and education
And experience.
Yeah.
I remember what Killer Mike said. He was like, I was born on 420, I love marijuana, and I miss being a drug dealer.
Fucking yo.
It was like, fucking, you're coming from the place of just like knowing from both sides, like from, fucking being an artist and an activist, and also from selling weed.
Yeah.
So it was just, he's an incredible person with an incredible mind and an incredible artist. And LP was sitting in like this dark room. It was so funny, there's two of them, because LP was like sitting kind of in a darkened room, and like he would just kind of like lean in out of the shadows every once in a while.
It's almost like a Mr. Robot hacker style situation where it's all under the cloak of almost darkness.
It was very fucking cool. And he came in, what was the quote that you wanted to say?
It was when they were talking about how corporate cannabis is coming whether you like it or not, but things need to be in place so that everybody can eat at the table. And he said, LP said, you're making potholes with the tank that I paid for.
Wow. Yeah.
Talking about like the insane taxes on cannabis.
Yep.
Like, yo, we're the ones suffering. Small businesses are suffering. Everybody is suffering because of these bullshit taxes that are coming from people who are trying to make their billion on the backs of other people.
Yeah.
Fucking thank you, Run the Jewels.
Yeah, it was great. It was such a fucking good panel. And, also the hemp panel at the Emerge conference was so fucking incredible.
So good.
Those four activists, it was Morris Beagle and
Rye Russell. Oh, I'm going to forget the other two.
Joy.
Yes.
And Andrea. And I can't remember either of their fucking last names, but anyway, it was just fucking great, like full of energy. And they were so on fire. Like they were more on fire for their love of hemp and how it's going to save the planet than almost anyone else at the conference.
When you're titling your panel, Hemp May Save the World, and you don't come out as hot as they did,
yeah,
I'm not going to believe it. Now, hemp's going to save the world.
It was so good. You know what else is great in the news right now is the Grub Gazette news story of the week.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into that.
Okay, the Grub Gazette this week is a Florida man who spent 31 years in prison for a non-violent marijuana crime has been released.
Fucking
that man's
A.
name is Richard DeLisi.
Wow.
Yeah.
He was sentenced to 90 years in prison for a nonviolent cannabis trafficking offense in the 80s, right?
1989.
Yeah. So he spent 31 years in prison, and he just got out because there were some attorneys who were working on his case pro bono, I think, right?
Yeah, and the Last Prisoner Project, who, if you don't know anything about them, feel free to Google the Last Prisoner Project or find them on any of the social media sites you may be a bit addicted to, like me. But
they were just given a Clio Award at the cannabis conference
100%.
for impact and social justice. So.
And they do make an impact.
Yep.
So the I don't know the attorney's name off the top of my head.
I have it right here, actually. It's Kiara, I think, Juster.
Awesome.
She was the lead attorney working pro bono on that case. And she called the original sentence, quote, a sick indictment of our nation. Fucking A.
Preach.
She and the other attorneys, Elizabeth Buchanan and Michael Minardi, worked to get DeLisi out. And yeah, it's just a fucking great story. So he's home for the holidays.
Yeah.
And the first time in 32 years.
I want to read the final paragraph of this news story because it's exactly that. DeLisi's family met with him when he was released Tuesday. He met 2 of his 5 grandchildren for the first time ever, enjoyed a seafood meal with his family after getting a test for COVID-19.
Fucking A. Wow,
Right.
That's a great story.
It's so, and that seafood meal. So things are good. Things are positive. When they move in the right way, I feel better about life.
Of course.
You know?
Yeah.
For sure.
Another thing that's moving in a cool direction for us is that can we say that we got in
Yeah.
to
South by Southwest.
Woo!
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's super exciting. South by Southwest 2021 is going to be virtual, and we are in with our panel, and we will be sharing lots of information about it in the coming weeks and months because we're so fucking excited about it.
Absolutely. Can I just read the track
Yeah.
that we're on? Because I think that, to me, is the biggest honor.
It's really cool.
I mean, our panel is my internet.
It's art,
They
entertainment.
must be uploading their OnlyFans because this is taking forever. There we go. Yeah. Art, entertainment, and social justice awareness is the name of our panel. But our track that we're on is called Transforming the Entertainment Landscape. And boy, oh boy, that feels so seen to me because we work so hard to try and have a great time together while also doing our best to be the best we can to change the world in a better way. So fucking hell, so nice. Thank you all so much.
Yeah, thank you to everyone who voted for us and helped us get in. And it does feel really cool. They got rid of the cannabis track, so there's no cannabis specific track, and it means the world to be in a Transforming the Entertainment Landscape track, which is, yeah, like you said, I'm just repeating it. It's exactly what we want to do with everything we do, like have a great time and make the world a better place. Yeah.
Come on, it's a nice way to end the year.
It is.
End the year strong. Also, to all of you who voted for us, who have been riding with us, all of our new listeners who may have found us just now, like, what up? Thank you so much for being on this journey with us.
Thank you so much. It just fucking means the world. And we've had such great fucking like times in the craziest of years. I've made so many new friends virtually and, excited to see everyone in 2021, probably virtually some more.
Yeah.
for a while.
I'm thinking about renting a hot air balloon so that I can go visit with people.
That sounds nice.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Have I talked about that idea on here?
I don't know.
Uber air balloon?
I don't think so.
I haven't?
I don't know.
Oh, I think it's the new way that entertainment is going to happen. Like you can do stand up in a hot air balloon over a cul-de-sac. You can visit with friends safely, and you get to do it in a way that's never been done before. I think Uber air balloon is going to be like, fuck a private jet.
Yeah.
What a flex. If Drake would get rid of his private jet and float down to the Grammys in an air balloon from his house, such a better flex. Fuck your limo. That's so much cooler.
Fuck your limo. We're in hot air balloons out here. Love it.
Wouldn't that be so dope?
Yeah.
It touches down on the red carpet and you just like shake hands with them and the hot air balloon just lifts back up. Bye.
Wait, did you just say shake hands?
You
Nobody's shaking hands, Mike.
with the hot air balloon driver.
No, nobody
then
shakes hands. There's no handshakes anymore. Handshakes are done.
Okay.
No, you just made me nervous with handshakes. Like I might get close enough for a fucking elbow bump. Maybe. Probably not.
Forget the
I'm
handshake.
going to get a poking stick. This is what I'm going to do for 2021. I'm going to get a stick and I'm going to poke people with it. It's going to be great.
As a hi?
Yeah, as a hello. You'll feel the end of my stick in your ribs and you'll feel touched and it'll be great. It's going to be like the new handshake. Stick in the ribs.
You didn't give me a wave.
Yeah. I didn't get a wave. You get a stick in the ribs.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Nice. Wow. Well, I hope that, yeah. Oh, that's the new poke. Sorry.
What?
I didn't know where to go from there. So it's a poke. Can I finish my hot air balloon thought?
Oh, I'm sorry.
On
I
the
didn't
stick in
realize.
the ribs?
Yes, please.
I think it's also a really cool flex if you hot air balloon everywhere because you know how you'll see famous people who have drivers and the driver just sits in the cut next to the Escalade the whole time until you're ready to go?
Yeah, they're the coolest.
It's the coolest move.
Always. Mm-hmm.
But if you have a hot air balloon just idling over the club until you're ready to dip, fuck the valet. Fuck giving your keys to someone else, having your driver hang out at the fucking car. You just like boop, boop. And then the hot air balloon driver comes down and you open the basket and you and your crew fucking hop in and float back to the mansion. Ugh.
I love that. I would love if there was the ladder, the ladder that unrolls from a hot air balloon. Yeah, so the hot air balloon is just high enough up that, they can flip down the ladder to you and you have to climb up a few and then that's fucking great.
Really cool.
I like it. It's good.
That's awesome.
Yes.
The ladder is the move.
Hell yes. I'm on board.
Uber air balloon. I'm saying it.
Got
Come
it.
on.
Uber air balloon and stick in the ribs. These are this is what we're going with today.
South by Southwest is like, I guess.
Sure. Whatever you guys think, that's fine. It's all virtual. It doesn't matter.
This is a really fun one.
Yeah.
Ending the year strong.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
I had such a good time having our own like 2-person holiday party with you too, to like celebrate not only the end of the year and the closing of the Emerge conference and all that kind of stuff, but just to be like, yeah, like let's have a little smoke sesh for our own holiday fun and just, you know, kick it and pretend we're at a holiday party.
I think
Just
so.
us.
I would feel really weird on a Zoom holiday party.
Yeah.
So just to like kick it with you, light up some LAKEGRADE,
Yeah.
smoke, take some fun pictures of us just living the Christmas party that we don't get to throw this year for all our friends.
Yeah, it
That's
was
awesome.
really great to be able to be with everyone last year. And we went to the Cannabis Cafe and we had like 12 people around a huge table and we just were like, keep it all coming, like bong rip after bong rip. And our friends Charlotte and Eric like were our weed sort of concierges.
Absolutely.
It was fantastic. And
Speaking of, I want to shout out LAKEGRADE Sativa.
oh yeah.
As a connoisseur, or I'm trying to be a connoisseur.
Okay.
I just want to shout out their sativa because I woke up a little bit hungover the other day, and I hope that's okay to talk about the fact that I like drank whiskey while watching The Flight Attendant on HBO Max.
Everyone is drinking whiskey and watching The Flight Attendant. I feel like that's whatever. Yes.
Well, I just had so much to do, so I like did a little woke and boke with the sativa, the LAKEGRADE sativa, and all of a sudden my mind is firing. It's the pour over of puffs. Is really what it felt like to me.
Dope.
Yeah, LAKEGRADE rocked me with the pour over of puffs with their sativa. And if you want to check out LAKEGRADE, you can go on Ease and use the code HOLIDAYS, DAZE 30 for 30% off your order. For real. Cannot
Through
co-sign them enough.
The end of the year, I think, right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's all
great.
month. Yep.
Cool.
Woo.
Hit them up. Try something new. It's sun-grown. It's organic. It's delicious.
Yep.
I never feel like weird when the high comes down. Sometimes you can get a little muddy with certain strains for me. I feel awesome. I feel energetic. I feel alive. And that's all I want in a plant is to help me
pour-over.
feel alive, is the pour over.
Nice.
Fuck yeah. Thank you, LAKEGRADE.
Yeah, thank you guys. It's been really cool fucking rocking with LAKEGRADE.
Yeah. Oh, well, do you still have the pictures from our holiday party?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I want to post some of those.
Yep.
Tight.
It was a lot of fun. It was
Because
really
you know
nice.
how to do a French inhale, which I don't know how to do.
Yeah. Oh man, I remember mastering that when I was a teenager. And when I'd like just sat in front of a mirror and figured out how to do it because I thought it was so cool. My friend Roz, I think, was the first person I saw do it. And I was like, what is that? It looks like a waterfall, like a smoke waterfall. Yeah.
It's very cool.
I can
flex.
teach you.
Could you?
Yeah, totally.
I would really love, because then you hit the I think it was the LAKEGRADE Budzilla, and you blew like 9 smoke rings in a row.
Yep. I can teach you.
God damn.
It's easy to learn.
Okay.
Yeah, smoke tricks. Sure. Let's do it.
Please teach me.
Shall we get to our buds of the week?
Yeah, let's do that and then get to our VIB Sophia.
Hell yes. Okay. You want to go first or second?
I'll go first.
Okay.
My bud of the week this week, hold on, I'm pulling them up. You would think doing this podcast for 9 years, I would have my phone ready at any time.
9
but
years.
I never do.
That's pandemic time.
My bud of the week this week is Matt Greenberg. That's Greenberg with a U for Berg. Greenberg77 is his Instagram, or their Instagram. I'm not sure what their pronouns are. And not only is this somebody new who we kicked it with at Emerge, but also has a really cool Etsy shop called Made This on My Laser, and cut up some Weed and Grub pins with the laser. Has a bunch of dope stuff on their Instagram. So if you're looking for a great gift to support a human being who has beliefs, dreams, and artistic talent, and want to just make a new bud on the IG, follow Matt Greenberg at Greenberg77.
Nice. And speaking of artistic talent, my bud of the week is my friend Lizzie Steelheart's band, Bikini Car Wash, and we're going to drop their track at the end of this episode after our amazing chat with our guest, Sophia. And the track is called Surface, and Bikini Car Wash just came out with a new album of fucking bangers. The album is called Nothing I Can See. It's on Spotify right now. The band is Bikini Car Wash, fronted by my very good friend Lizzie Steelheart, who is just an incredible human being who kicks ass. And they're the most fun to see live. So I'm excited to see them live again someday and perform this fucking amazing new album because they're so fun.
I want to go
Like,
jump
they're-
up and down.
They're fucking like just so punk rock. They're great. So at Bikini Car Wash Rocks on IG, check out their new album on Spotify, Nothing I Can See. And that is Buds of the Week.
That's so good. And our VIB this week, Sophia.
Oh man.
Somebody who loves anarchy, the truth, and knows who they are.
And is funny as fuck.
Funny as fuck.
Yes.
You probably already follow Sophia Benoit on Twitter. It's at one follower, no dad. One is the numeral one, not O-N-E. One follower, no dad. Funny as hell. I mean, you don't get 115,000 followers if you're not hilarious. And also has a new book coming out called Well, This Is Exhausting. And she's a sex columnist for GQ magazine. Come on.
Yeah, she's so insightful and thoughtful and funny and real and cool and funny and cool and hot.
Yeah, all of it.
All of those things.
All of those
it was
things.
just really neat to get to talk with her about how she developed her worldview. I mean, she got into it with us. So
very nice. I like anybody who has deep insight and is educated on those insights, but at the end of the day is like, and destroy it.
yeah, and burn it all down. And also let's have fun.
Yeah, it ties into Bikini Car Wash so perfectly. This episode is synchronistic.
It was a lot of fun. And listen, we're wrapping up our year. We've got one more episode left to drop in 2020. And it's a fucking great interview as well. And I'm just so proud of having had so many incredible guests on this podcast and also just hanging out with you and making it through this year, Mike. So
thank you, Mary Jane. Same to you.
And thank you to everyone who listens. Thank you to all of our people out there. All of you make our lives so much fucking better. Truly. So thanks for rocking with us.
Damn, that's so nice. I have nothing more to say. Ready to do it? Mm-hmm. All right, without further ado, here is our interview with
Sophia Benoit.
Sophia, what the fuck is up?
Is this the intro? Am I ready to go? I can say things now? Okay.
Yes.
Not much is up. Two things have recently happened. One, I finished writing a book that I'm working on. So that's kind of a bizarre thing to be doing in quarantine. And then on a bizarre other note, I got kind of a boob job because of reconstruction from a non-cancerous tumor I had a couple years ago. So I am leaving quarantine with a new book and new tits. So yeah.
Wow. Take that 2020.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people are doing small cosmetic procedures in quarantine and hoping to come out looking better. And I went for the gold. I was like, let's get new boobs. Let's just do it.
How does it feel? How was the experience?
It was way more painful than I thought, which gave me a lot more respect for the cast of The Real Housewives of every city. I was like, okay, I see you, my sisters. And I was trying to think of the word for brethren for sisters, but I don't know if there is one. Sorority? I don't know.
Yeah.
Does the doctor tell you how long until you can flip a table again?
Yeah, it's at least 6 weeks, and they
No.
they're clear. Yeah, I have 3 more weeks to go before I can flip a table. I'm not allowed. I can barely throw a wine glass at someone. They're like, keep it low key.
Good drugs? Good drugs?
Oh, I have so many drugs. My house should be targeted for a break-in. Please don't, if anyone knows where I live, but I have so many good drugs right now.
Are you in California?
Yes, I'm in Los Angeles. I can't say my address because I have so many good drugs, but
Yeah.
otherwise I'd put it on the air, but so many good drugs here.
Yeah. Ooh, damn. I don't know if I want any of them. When I had surgery, I was put on a bunch of drugs and they made me so constipated that I was in more pain than when I wasn't taking those drugs.
That's no joke why I weaned myself off of the painkillers faster, because I was like, I have not shat in a week now, and I feel worse than if I had just been in pain, I think. I think I was also just losing my mind. My body was in a different shape than it had been before, plus I was not shitting, and I was like, this is the worst situation I feel. And because of the quarantine, I wasn't leaving my house, so I was in PJs. I was like, I feel like the disgustingest version of myself. I have to get off painkillers now. Immediately.
That's so intense. I have actually never experienced it. I don't know what it's like, and I hear people talk about it. I'm like, it just sounds like true hell.
It's not. I mean, the drug that I really liked was actually, because I have a lot of back pain already, and you have to sleep on your back with new boobs, so you can't even sleep on your side at all for the first 3 weeks or so. So you get really stiff because you can't move at night, and so they gave me a muscle relaxant, but I thought they were just going to give me normal ass muscle relaxant, but they gave me Valium, and I was like, I don't even know if this is supposed to be a muscle relaxant. Is this? My doctor was just like, sure, have Valium. I was like, I don't want to police what your degree gave you and the knowledge therein, but am I supposed to have Valium?
Valium sounds like that thing that you're supposed to have with like a martini in the 70s and like
Yes.
be fun at a party, or like, you know.
Yeah, it sounds like what all of our parents did to get pregnant with us. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to have this, but that one was nice. I was like, okay, I feel nothing. I feel no pain. That was great. So if anyone needs Valium, hit me up.
Yeah, or hit up Dr. Nick, who I assume is your doctor, the Simpsons doctor, is also who you work with?
Yes,
Cool.
yes, exclusively. Yes.
Great.
I want to talk about the book. So you finished, well, I know, Well, This Is Exhausting
Yes.
is out, right?
It's available for pre-order finally, so I got to reveal the cover. I got to say, like, here, you can order it now. It will be officially out in July of 2021, which is actually just July now. I keep forgetting that that it's now the next July that's happening, because time is fake now.
Sophia, I'm still writing 2019 on all my checks.
And you write a lot of checks, I bet.
And I'm writing so many checks.
And they all bounce.
And they all bounce.
And the issue is not the date that I wrote, but I am still getting it wrong.
So is it, it's a collection of essays, right?
Yes, so it's hopefully funny essays that are kind of a journey, overused word, but a journey of like me being this little like very goody two shoes overweight kid who like did everything right all the time as a kid, and then kind of like I was really a good kid for my parents, and then I turned into this like chill girl in college who did everything for men and for like the male gaze, and like trying to be a slut but not succeeding at all, but trying really hard. And then kind of like the culmination of it is like how I got past this idea of behaving for other people and getting into more doing what I wanted to do and actually being a person that was unaffected or less affected if people didn't like me, which I think is really hard to do. I think it's hard to, everyone that I know still struggles with it. It's not like you're automatically just like, oh yeah, I'm totally cool with myself and it doesn't ever bother me if someone doesn't like me. But just like kind of that change of learning how to be like, I know what I stand for. I know what I'm about. That kind of thing.
Where was that wellspring? Where did it all start? That sort of reckoning for you?
I think most of the like actual change came from Twitter, which is like such a bizarre place when people are always like, you're not going to change anyone's mind on Twitter. Like I came to Twitter like a 17 or 18-year-old white girl who was like, I vote Democrat and therefore like I've done everything I can. Like I don't know what else we can do. So I like definitely came to Twitter very naive and very like, I thought like sexist jokes were super funny and I wanted to be like one of the guys. And like I came to the internet with that mindset. And then I made all these friends in college that were comedian guy bro-y kind of like really like wanting to be like the chill girl in the group, the token girl. And I like tried really hard at that and for a while succeeded. And then I think this like hurricane of events happened at one time, which was like this guy that I had been friends with didn't like me back, even though I was so chill. And I was like, the math doesn't add up here. Wait a minute. I put in like hours of being a cool, nice person with no expectations. What do you mean? And then I just saw all these women online that were like putting up with bad treatment and like not being okay with it instead of being okay with it. And so all these like dominoes kind of fell, and I felt like I had been like, again, like I didn't take risks. I like hadn't been in a room with cocaine until I was like 27 years old. And like one time I found a baggie on the floor that was small, and my friend was like, someone was doing coke, and I was like, someone lost a bag for jewelry. And they were like, no, you're a dumbass. Like, what is wrong with you? I was like, I'm from Missouri. I don't know things. So, not that people from Missouri don't know what drugs are. They do.
We do. I mean, we're both from St. Louis, but you know, we'll get there.
Yeah.
I love that you were like, oh, I hope they're already wearing the earrings.
That's literally what I thought. Like, because like some jewelry does come in little bags like that, like the little Ziplocs. And that's literally what I thought. I was like, someone purchased new earrings. And my friend was like, no, Sophia, someone did cocaine. Also, this was in a green room for a comedy show. So like, why would it be earrings? Why, so I just like, I've been so good for so long. I felt like I had taken no risks and like done all these like good things, and like it wasn't working for me, and I wasn't getting anything out of it other than just like being quiet or trying to be quiet all the time and like trying to like be chill and cool, and like people didn't even care. And I was like, wait, no, I'm supposed to be like rich and hot at least, like what's the benefit? So then I kind of just like gave up. And so like that's kind of where the title came from, is like I think it's less that I like had this like fully formed thesis in my mind about like my version of feminism or something like that. It wasn't that. It was more just like I was so tired all the time of like trying really hard that I like kind of just gave up and was like, fuck it, I don't know. If you perceive me in this certain way, I don't know, I'm not in charge anymore. I don't want to be in charge. So that's kind of what the shift was. But I tried for a really long time to like write a fun book that was like, and then I slept with this person, and then I did drugs with this cool celebrity. And then I like spent years trying to write that book because I'd seen other women write it or write similar funny books. And finally my agent was like, I don't think you have those stories. And I was like, okay. And that's a good note. Okay.
So funny.
When you got sort of exhausted and you were like, okay, I'm going to do something differently, was there something that you hooked into to be okay with people not liking you? Was there something that you used as like a place of safety to be like, I'm going to be okay no matter what? Was there a moment you had? Was there a friend or how did you do it? Because I'm so thirsty to know.
You were a goody two-shoe growing. We all were.
I think that one of the things that I struggle with the most is that terrible feeling that I get in my stomach, like a physical feeling of discomfort when I think that I might have not made the best impression and that someone might be in some way not completely 100% all about. Like, it's very fucked up how we do that. And I'm just so fascinated to know like how you made peace with it and then became this incredible, powerful fucking voice and my favorite follow on Twitter. Like,
oh my God, that's huge. Well, we need to have you follow way more people on Twitter. No, I think, so there's a couple things. Like, I think it started for me with, like the thing I kind of hooked into was, this is going to be kind of a weird answer, but was like anger. I was like very defensive and very, also, I felt like protective of other women and younger women and my sister, my literal younger sisters. I felt like I was so angry about what was happening. And it was like very much through like a white feminist lens kind of thing of like almost like not as harmful, I hope, but like Lena Dunham-y kind of way that was like a little too much. Like I was just angry, and I shouldn't probably use an example of another person because I don't know what they're going through, but it was anger. And so I think I started with that, which was like super powerful for me as someone who was like a not quiet kid. Like I was always joking all the time in class and really annoying, but I wasn't like speaking up for people. I wasn't speaking up for myself. I had no beliefs and I had nothing that I thought was true and nothing that I was fighting for other people. So it was like all of a sudden, once I like kind of had the world open up to me and was like, oh my God, the world's really unfair to marginalized people, whether that's like LGBTQ, whether that's people with disabilities, whether that's anyone of a different race that's not white. I women obviously was like a huge entry point for me, which is, I shouldn't have needed it to be about me, but I did because I was 19 and I was an idiot. And so then it was like, I don't care what the fuck you think about me, because it's like the world's so unfair that like, fuck you, we're dying of climate change. Like, so that was the first step. And then I think it was like a shift eventually, and it came from other people, but it was like, this isn't getting anywhere. And in fact, it's making people feel bad and making me feel bad. And I'm angry all the time. And that isn't really, again, it's not doing anything for anyone. I'm not taking any real actions for anyone. And I think in some ways it did make other people, and especially other young women, feel like they could also be angry about what had happened to them. And I got people that reached out and said things like that to me, which felt good at the time. So it was like, felt really affirming, but it wasn't doing anything. So eventually it kind of paired back to like, okay, what do you really believe about how you ought to treat people? And if you go do that, if you genuinely go do that or attempt to do that, then you can't be wrong. Like, I mean, at least to me, like I can't be wrong if I'm following my moral code. And I can hurt people and I can harm people and I can apologize, but I'm not doing harmful things on purpose, you know? So then I had this like actual belief system that I could fall back on and be like, if I'm wrong, I know I can apologize, and it doesn't mean somebody is going to take my apology. I could still be wrong. I could still harm someone even if I don't mean to, but I have this like really strong foundation of like, I believe these things are right and I believe this is the right way to act. And all of a sudden I had this like genuine belief system that has been amended and changed a million times since then. So it's not like it's like this concrete thing, but like at some point I became confident enough in what I believed and how I could treat people and how I could learn and grow and listen more and talk less and just take up less space and just be calmer and be more helpful. And if I could do those things and just like kind of chill out a little, not in a chill girl way, but in a like, don't take up as much space and don't be angry all the time. And then I felt like I was just like, you know, if you don't like me or you don't need me here or you don't want me here, I'm allowed to be hurt by that. That's like still hurtful. Like, of course it's a rejection, but that doesn't have to change anything about me, which before it did. Before it was like, you don't like me? Okay, time to change literally everything so that I can adjust. So I feel like it was like that's probably like a very generous, backwards look at something that was not that, you know, perfect narratively in real life. But, you know.
How do you find the tone when you write something like that so that I'm not, if I was writing your book, it would be super personal and it would more sound like pages of complaining about how things didn't work out the way I wanted them to work out and then blaming myself for it. Like, how do you strike a tone that is truthful but also entertaining without sounding like a maniac?
That's such a good question, because after I picked the title, Well, This Is Exhausting, I spent so long telling myself that, like, if I didn't do this book right, so many, like, reviews of this book, like, literally people writing reviews on Amazon, not, like, you know, famous reviews, but, like, were people gonna be like, this was exhausting to read. And I was like, oh, fuck, I just screwed myself. Like, as soon as I wrote that title, I was like, I have to make sure that this is fun enough to read that I don't get "this is exhausting" thrown at my face because I made it the title. So I think what I tried really hard to do was find this balance between really empathizing with my younger self and being like, oh girl, you really struggled. But also being like, I really tried to empathize with my younger self and see where I was coming from and dissect why I was coming from things that way and what it felt like to experience those things. But I also was like, this is still funny and absurd because like there's something so funny about being this like young fat kid who was so horny all the time and was like watching Grease every day because she loved John Travolta. like that's funny. Like I was such a little like loser, and like I don't know, it's cute, it's fine, and it's not harmful to anyone. Like it doesn't harm anyone to be like, this is life is like this. Like life is like this for all of us, where you have these moments where you're like, what the fuck was I wearing in 6th grade? I looked so dumb. You know, like I think that was what I tried to get. The entry point I tried to make for other people is, it's okay that you did a thing that was really embarrassing back then, or it's okay that it was hard and you struggled. Like it doesn't kill you. It's okay. You know, like the small moments I shared, like there are people with real problems. So I kind of tried to address the stories with that attitude, is like, this is not, I was struggling with, you know, having food as a kid, or I was struggling with shelter as a kid. Like this is not a massive problem. But when you're in 6th grade, it feels like a huge problem that this guy doesn't like you back because you're a 6th grader. And like, that's you're an idiot. I don't know. It's
And the idea of being compassionate to yourself in order to, like, this is actually new to me, is because I was raised to be hard on myself. Like, that
Yes.
was sort of like the stoicism of where I come from like my British father who grew up during the Second World War and my rural Canadian mother. And it was like, hardship is a fact. And the harder you are on yourself, the better you'll be set up to succeed in life. And I'm now learning that actually being compassionate to yourself lets you be then compassionate to others. If you're hard on yourself, you're going to be hard on others. This is like this whole new thing that's emerging in my, new life in California. It's all very new. So I don't know. I'm just fascinated to like hear about you specifically looking at your younger self and saying, like, first and foremost, you have to sort of like fold her into who you are now and be kind to that younger you and start from there.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I had a somewhat similar experience, I feel like, of parents who were not less so my mom, but my dad is the children of immigrants and grew up incredibly poor and was like this self-made person that like went from not having a bedroom as a kid and never having gone to a restaurant until he was like in his 20s because he was too poor to like making lots of money at one point in his life. And so in his mind, there was this attitude, like you said, of like, be hard on yourself and like work so hard. And like, there wasn't much like, again, there's not much self-compassion. But I think I think where a lot of my humor tries to come from, at least, is like, it is so funny to me ultimately that like we're these little animals on a rock in space that are like worried about ourselves. Like, what are we doing? Like when I look in the mirror and I'm mad about cellulite, like sometimes I zoom out and I'm like, okay, literally you're alive for a blip in time and no one gives a shit about your cellulite. Like no one cares. It's okay. Chill out. But I also have compassion for the other side of it, which is like, but also you've been made to feel bad about this. Like somebody else told you this was bad and you believe them, which is like hard to undo, and you're not going to undo it by yourself, just the way it wasn't built by yourself. Like you can't undo all of it. So I think it's really important, like you said, to fold yourself back into yourself and say like, you've got a lot of fears. You've got a lot of anxiety. You're a disaster in a lot of ways. And that's okay. Like everybody is. Everyone's walking around. First time on Earth. No one knows what they're doing. It's fine.
Oh, it is our first time on Earth. That's a fucking trip.
It's our first time. This is your first time being alive. You don't know.
Yeah, right? That makes it a lot easier to grapple with everything when it's like, oh, I'm still a rookie at life. It's my first time here.
Right?
God damn. Yeah.
Like it's so funny that we expect ourselves to be so good at being alive the first time when we like do not expect ourselves to be good at literally anything else the first time. But, other than like maybe sex, but also we all know ultimately like it's not gonna be good, but like you kind of secretly hope that like maybe I'm one of those people that's good the first time. But
yeah. No.
Nobody.
No.
Nobody.
It was terrible.
Everyone's terrible.
and that's what we're doing life wise. Like it's still we're in the like losing the virginity stage of being alive,
It's so fucked up because by the time I figure it out, like I'm gonna be done with it.
Yeah,
like I'm gonna be like, aw, damn, oh word, and then that's the end. Like my last words will be, oh word.
Yeah.
Yes. You will have just figured it out at the very end, and you'll be like, oh, shit.
Yep.
Okay, next time. I'll get him next time.
Your last words are next time. That's pretty good. I like that.
The concept that being alive in grief or in sadness or any state of discomfort is just as valuable and as much a bigger part of things so much of the time than being in happiness or comfort. And I think, like, especially in America, it's the idea is that we're supposed to be constantly joyous and happy, and everything is geared toward that. Like all marketing, all movies, all things that are quote unquote good. And there's right now, like I find myself really attracted to what you're talking about and what you're writing about in a way that I hope the whole world will soon shift towards. Like that we all need to sit in discomfort. I mean, God, 2020 is if you're comfortable in 2020, then what the hell?
Yes.
Like, wow, if you're comfortable this year, I mean, good, good for you, but also you shouldn't be.
Yeah,
Right.
and I know you listen to this podcast, David Geffen, so we're speaking about you directly.
But just so valuable and so amazing to hear you articulate it like that. Like, it's just, we all need to examine all of it. And it's a huge tapestry, and we've all been zoomed in on this like one fucking corner of like, ooh, let's all get that, part. But that's just not what it's like. You're not going to be happy. You can't be happy if you're not looking at the rest of it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this is going to be kind of weird, but not that the rest of what I said isn't, but I feel like I about like 6 years ago, I had this huge, I read a news article while I was on vacation, and it was about climate change potentially killing off the human race, which it turns out the study's kind of flawed, and the outcomes they described were very unlikely. But I had this like massive panic attack about it. And I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to be like a little Italian Nona making meatballs because my children and grandchildren will not survive. Which again, who knows what's going to happen. But I had this massive panic attack that turned into like days and weeks of just massive grief over this idea of like, I thought I was supposed to be like this size 2 famous actress, and that I was going to own dogs and horses just like Julia Roberts did, because I read an article about her when I was 6, and that became my career goal, was to have dogs and horses. And I figured the easiest way was to become a famous actress, America's sweetheart. None of that's on track, by the way. I do actually have one dog, so I'm getting closer, but I do not have what Julia Roberts has yet. But I just like had this massive amount of grief of like, oh my God, I was supposed to be doing all this, like all these career goals that I really thought were so cool and important were just kind of like in that moment shattered of like, what the fuck am I doing writing what am I doing writing jokes online? We're dying, So it was this huge kind of realignment for me where I came down from the highest highs of the grief, which is like, we're doomed, everything's awful, nothing's worth doing. But what it really adjusted in me was like, okay, let go of the idea that you have any idea what's coming next, because you have no idea. Like, we are in for so much unpredictability on a scale that like most generations have never seen. And so like that was probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and it took a long time to like be okay with being like, you don't know what's coming down the pipe, let's see, and like what you think is important and fun and cool and what would be cool in like a normal world that like had adjusted its emissions back in like 1980, partying on yachts, which I think sounds amazing. I would love to be on a yacht. I love boats. Let's do it. But like, it's not good. I can't do it ethically anymore. Like, so I'm also not getting offers. If anyone does offer from this podcast, please forward that to me. I will do it, but like low key, and make sure no photos of me get leaked. But
David Geffen.
Yeah, David Geffen, I know you're listening. But I feel like that big, huge adjustment of like, okay, stop expecting that like, how the world's going to go, and you don't have this like, buy a house, have kids, be rich, be thin, be whatever. That stuff's not coming down the line probably. Or if it is, it's coming down the line in a way you can't imagine yet. That made me a lot more prepared for the pandemic than a lot of people. Also, I read a lot about like futurism and like antibiotic resistant and pandemics. Like I was already reading about some of this stuff when the pandemic came. So I was like, yes, that's exactly what was going to happen. Sure. Cause I'm a loser. But yeah, I think a lot of people are doing a lot of grieving right now because they thought like, I can imagine the future. And I think it's really hard to face the reality that like, no, you have no idea what's coming. Like, we don't know. We just don't know.
I think I remember seeing you kind of tweet a lot about meat at this time. I think it was, was it about
yes.
like, we need to stop eating meat, right?
Yes.
And like enough is enough. There are other alternatives out here, and the magnitude of meat consumption for what it does to the earth is like destroying everything. Am I on the right track for what you were reading about?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously this is for people who can afford to make changes. And like, obviously tons of people are in like food deserts and have very low access to food and need protein for health reasons and like all kinds of things like that. Like I'm making this should not be on any individual. I get that. Like, it shouldn't be ideally. Like, ideally, we just, like, sue corporations into the ground and, you know, like, rebuild society in a good way.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but you are so much more of an anarchist than I ever knew.
Oh, no, like, totally. I just think, I think you have to, like, I think so much stuff needs to be broken down for people to not be harmed and not be dying. And, like, to me, that's, like, the priority is, like, let's not have people die. like in a low-key chill way, let's not kill people. Like, I don't know, just, like, really calm vibes.
She's such a chill girl.
Yeah.
Wow.
Super chill. Break it all down. Burn it to the ground.
Burn it to the ground, like, in a low-key way.
But
it
chill.
Doesn't threaten anyone. And
burn it to the ground, but chill.
But chill. And people still find me hot, but burn it to the ground. So that's kind of like my political party platform is just find me hot still, but I'm dismantling everything.
This is my new manic pixie dream girl. This is the 2.0. The hot but chill, but burn it down.
But anarchy, yes.
But
yes.
anarchy,
but hot.
cool.
But hot, yeah, exactly. Like sexy anarchy. Like, ooh, lots of sex. No death. We hate death.
Oh, man.
Fucking sign me up for that
So
party.
good.
I'm here.
Yeah, it's going to be really successful. So many people are going to be in. But yeah, so I just started reading about like meat consumption a lot. And turns out red meat is like terrible for the world in general. Or the way we're doing it is terrible for the world. So I stopped eating red meat for a very long time. And then I like would try it again occasionally for like, if I go to someone's house, I'm not going to be like, fuck your red meat. I'm not eating this. And like throwing it on the floor.
While taking a selfie.
Yeah, and
to
I'm
make
like,
sure that
fuck you. Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, the listeners can't see this, but I just put up my middle finger. It was very offensive. And everyone at that party was very offended by my display. But I would eat red meat every once in a while, and like I would literally get sick because I hadn't been eating red meat, but I would still keep like trying to force the issue. I was like, no, body, you can handle this. Like, I need to be able to like eat a burger occasionally. But now I'm to the point where I'm just like, what am I doing? I like literally feel sick eating red meat on accident. Like I want to eat red meat again occasionally. I don't want to be like crazy about it, but
What are your thoughts about the factory grown or lab grown meat?
I love it. I make so much stuff with Impossible meat. Like if you just make little burgers with it, I make little burgers and put them on Hawaiian rolls, and they're so cute. It's amazing.
Oof.
It's so good. Get some like sharp cheddar cheese.
But that is a meat substitute. I mean, I love that. But, you know, they're actually growing, I think, lab growing meat from
Oh, yes.
animal protein cells, or I'm not sure how they're
Yes.
doing it. I don't really know much about it. Would you have, where does that land in your world?
I think from what I've read, a lot of those things are on such small scales that they're still producing a ton of emissions because they're like the emissions for literally having a lab. You know, like having, like, keeping lights on at a lab and keeping temperature control at a lab and, like, that kind of stuff is still counts as emissions. And I think a huge issue is when you look at, like, anything like that, if we were running everything on, like, a solar grid or a wind grid, having a lab would have such a smaller footprint, and then it would be a lot better. So it's not just, like there's no way to consume very well right now because you have no good options. Like no one's giving you options that are good and we're just not picking them. There's just no good options because our entire infrastructure is like so not sustainable. So I think it's like making as many good choices as you can as a person, but also just like really pushing for us to burn everything to the ground.
Fuck yeah.
Here we go.
Fuck yeah, because you're making me think of McDonald's, which is just a heinous corporation top to bottom. But instead of actually making any changes, they just added 2 salad options to their menu and breakfast all day. And then they're like, shut the fuck up, everybody. We're giving you breakfast all day and a couple salads, but we're going to keep making billions and billions of burgers without ever stopping. So go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I also feel like there is a way for us to live with this many people on the planet very sustainably. Like, there have been models that show that we can do it. It's just going to take a lot of money, and we're going to have to, like, keep throwing money and, like, manpower and brain power at the issues as they come up. And so far, things aren't dire enough that we're doing that. And so, unfortunately, it seems like we're just going to wait until it gets really bad before we do anything, which is the strategy. It's not a good one, but All right.
Well, I've never written a paper for school until the night before, so that's kind
our
of like
strategy
the
on climate.
human strategy. Yeah.
I do feel like it's seeping into the celeb culture in like Nicole Richie's, whole like ethical eco hip hop situation. Have you seen what she's up to?
Yes, I also saw like her show on Quibi where she's like that. I don't know if that even exists anymore. Like, I don't know if the footage even exists anymore because Quibi's gone. But I saw that, and she had like a rap about the bees or something, and I was like, yes, I love where you're going with this. I love Nicole Richie, unironically. I really love her.
she's fantastic, and she was like, I'm all about growing food at home, and like I think at the very beginning of the pandemic was when that show was launching, and she was all about her garden, and then I was looking at like there were all of these victory gardens popping up, and I started watching Masterclass, and there was an amazing class about one of the master classes from the gangster gardener who
yes
took over the median in his part of LA and started just growing food for his community. And I was like, oh, this seems like there is something happening right now where there's this masterclass being offered, and high profile celebs are all about their food towers or whatever. Maybe there is that tipping point.
And you were telling me about how Burning Man was seen as like a blueprint for sustainability that could work globally.
It was civil engineering wise. That was kind of neat. There was a civil engineer who was like, there's this really incredible infrastructure that exists to put up an entire city and take it all down with a quote unquote leave no trace model. That it seemed like there's bits and pieces of sparks of hope in all sorts of ways, but it is like, got to burn it down first.
I just think people underestimate how much is going to have to change, and I think that like our future looks a lot more like this lockdown we've been in than we all want to admit. Like, not necessarily the near future, but like 10 years from now, I think it's going to be a lot less socially acceptable to travel far and fly, and just like I just think a lot of things are going to change and be really hard. And I think the more you have good structure now with like community building, the better off you're going to be. And like, build those things now, like gardening in your backyard, and build those things. Not to be too like, I'm not trying to be like, oh my God, we're going to be eating bugs in 5 years. Like, I'm not trying to, I'm not saying like be a survivalist today, but I just think the future is like super uncertain, and there's going to be more natural disasters, and there's going to be greater wealth inequality, and people are going to want to start burning things down. So,
Fuck yeah. Do you have any like crazy, not crazy, I don't want to say the word crazy. You're kind of touching on them, but are there any futuristic thoughts and predictions that feel too long to tweet or out of bounds because now we're asking for replies, but you're sitting in the cut kind of like, I kind of believe this. I kind of believe this is what's going on.
I mean, I really think historically you don't see the amount of wealth inequality that's going on in our country and globally. Like, you don't see that without uprisings. And I think we've seen that globally, like Hong Kong and, last year there were a bunch before the pandemic. I mean, even here in the U.S., you had uprisings. In France, you had, some Yellow Jacket stuff. So I think there's going to be a ton of revolt. I think one thing that's going to make that incredibly difficult and unique that we haven't seen before in history is the amount of surveillance that's going on. I read a very scary dystopic piece about like I believe I'm pronouncing this incorrectly, so excuse me, but the Uyghurs in China that are like the Islamic minority there, they're very surveyed, and they can't go blocks without having like checkpoints where they're, photos are taken of them and they do face screenings. So I read that and I was like, this is going to be so much harder than ever before to like have successful uprisings. But I think there's a James Baldwin quote that I'm butchering, but like the most dangerous man is somebody who has nothing to lose. Like, that's going to be, if you keep taking from people, they're going to keep, they're going to fight back eventually because you have nothing to lose eventually. So my big prediction is we're going to see a lot of unrest in so many sectors. And I do think that a lot of governments will collapse. I think the good news, like, I'm a huge optimist about the future, despite all of the things I just said. The good news is that, like, historically, in almost every single situation where humans have faced massive unrest and catastrophe of any kind, is that humans overwhelmingly come together and community build very, very quickly. And there's almost no counterexamples to that. Like, almost everyone behaves as a society very, very quickly and gets kind of back on board. So I have hope that we will achieve that in some weird way. But my big picture outlook is things are gonna burn in more ways than one. There will be a lot of wildfires too. But there will be a lot of natural disasters, a lot of bad coming down the line, and a lot of death coming down the line, a lot of grieving. But there will also be a lot of community building and hope and restructuring. So that's my big, longer than a tweet prediction for the future.
This is the best note to actually wrap 2020 on, though, because I find such a measure of comfort in hearing all of this from you. It does feel good to actually hear, like, we should prepare for this reality in 10 years' time. We should right now, like, that makes me feel like I have some agency. Like, I could actually take steps right now to sort of put things in place where I am supporting my future self to be okay with whatever the fuck is going on.
Yes, I think it's super important to do that. Like, even just psychologically, just be like, okay, I got to get better at knowing that, like, I don't know what's coming.
Damn. Did we just burn it down?
Yeah, we just burned it down while looking hot.
And we're still hot. And we're still hot.
We're so hot.
And chill.
Hot, chill anarchists. I would watch that show. I would watch the fuck out of that show.
Kidding me? Yeah, whether it's on the WB or HBO, whatever we can get away with.
Yeah, man. Lifetime. I don't care.
No, anywhere but Facebook. Fucking Jesus. As we wrap up, there was one thing I was sitting on that I had to bring up on this podcast because it is probably my favorite discussion I've ever had on Twitter. And it's when you were talking about the fridge in the garage that everyone grew up with in the Midwest. Because growing up in St. Louis, we had a fridge in the kitchen and we had a fridge in the garage. And they were very distinct.
Yes.
Almost, you could almost argue Democrat and Republican in some ways.
Yes.
With the, like, divisiveness between them. And I was hoping you could talk about what's in your fridge today in LA and a little bit more about growing up in the Midwest with double fridges that was so relatable it hurt.
Yes. So I always, like, I had divorced parents and both of them had the fridge inside and the fridge in the garage because, of course. And the fridge in the garage traditionally is, in my family, for beverages. You put your sodas out there. You put your beers out there. Like, the big items. Anything.
Do you have backup milk?
Occasionally, but my family was big enough that we just were going through milk constantly. There was always Gatorade in there. I don't know why, like, who bought Gatorade and what were we needing so much Gatorade for, but, like, I felt like there was always Gatorade. We did play hockey. I know you played hockey as well. So I feel like maybe it was like a hockey thing. I don't know. So much Gatorade. And then also it became kind of, I think the backup fridge is real time to shine. Like, the most glorious day if you're the backup fridge is Thanksgiving, because that's when everything has to get moved out of the main fridge and you're getting the butter, you're getting the milk, you're getting all this stuff that you do not normally see as a backup fridge. It's coming in today. It's coming in hot because you got to make room for that casserole. You got to make room for the leftovers. That was like the glory day for the backup fridge. Like, she got to hold on to some things that, like, normally she doesn't get to see.
The understudy.
Yeah.
Yeah, were you thinking the understudy?
Yeah, I was thinking, it's her time to get that, the Broadway, the lead went out, twisted an ankle, went down. It's the understudy's moment.
God. It really was. And, like, now in LA, I have like half-stocked fridge that's full of oat milk because I'm a parody of a person. And, like...
yeah, all about the oat milk.
Yeah, I love oat milk. Oh my God, I'm so into oat milk. I'm not joking. I thought about naming my dog Oat Milk. But then I realized that I say milk poorly because I'm from Missouri and I say it kind of flat and with an E. And so I was like, I can't have people making fun of me constantly about how I say that. And then a bunch of, like, my boyfriend's always on a diet and trying to eat high protein, so there's just like chicken all the time, and I don't have any involvement in that, but there's like always chicken in our fridge. I feel like it's so boring. And then tons of champagne, because I love champagne. I drink a lot of champagne.
That's such a treat.
It's
Yes.
so nice. It's so
You
nice.
can just have it anytime. It doesn't.
I do.
It every day.
I do. I do.
Yeah. Wonderful.
It's a problem. No.
Wonderful.
No, but seriously, I used to go to bars when that was still a thing, and I would order glasses of champagne, and people always be like, "What are you celebrating?" And I'm like, "No, I just love this drink. You can get it anytime. You don't need a reason. They'll give it to you."
French 75 ever, or just straight champers?
I love Andre Champagne. The $4.99. I'm from St. Louis. I don't have taste. It's not important to have taste. And occasionally I'll try like a better one, and there are better ones, but I just literally go to my corner store and get Andre Champagne, like a real nice woman.
Fabulous.
The cork sounds the same.
It does.
Whatever.
It does.
I love the image of you like burning it all to the ground, looking fucking hot with like like an axe in one hand and a glass of champagne in the other.
Yes, and my new boobs. So things are really just
new boobs.
glamour everywhere. You can't even imagine the glamour.
Let's plug everything, please.
Yes.
Okay, so right now I have a newsletter called Here's the Thing that you can subscribe to, where I give people advice. And it is a Substack, but you can find that on my Twitter page, which my Twitter is @1follower_no_dad. And then I am also finished writing a book, which will again be out in July, called Well, This Is Exhausting. And you can purchase that, pre-order that in the link in my bio on my Twitter again. And that's what I've got going on.
Woo.
And hopefully some fan art coming in of what we just
tons
described.
of fan art.
Let's
hell yes.
go. If you want to follow us, we are @WeedandGrub on Instagram. WG@WeedandGrub is our .com is our email. You knew there was a .com. Nobody would just write an email without one. Leave us a 5-star review. Get Sophia's book. Hang out with us next week. Have a really great end of your year, and happy holidays, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
I see the noose in front of me, swinging so deliberately. It wants to grab a hold of me. You see, I got a back disease, deeper than idiosyncrasies. It makes me feel so violently. Kill the bottle, blow some lines. Try to drown my wounds in wine, but they surface screaming all the time. Shiny new thing in front of me, distracted from monotony. I'll chase after it blindly. Lose myself in someone else, keep running away from myself until I wind up in personal hell. Kill the bottle, blow some lines. Try to drown my fears in wine, but they surface screaming all the time. drown.